We stand with Israel throughout all of this. Hamas needs to be effectively neutralized before there's any kind of peace.
When you have hundreds of thousands of people in our nation here illegally with criminal records and some actively engaging in crime, well, then they all have to go. Greenland.
John Fetterman, once the left's tragic mascot of post-stroke perseverance, has started thinking clearly, speaking coherently, and worst of all, forming his own opinions. So naturally, the Democrat machine is trying to cancel the very man they pretended to protect. This isn't a comeback story they want, it's a liability.
You're running for a seat that could decide the balance of power in Washington. What qualifies you to be a U.S. Senator? You have 60 seconds.
Hi, good night, everybody. I'll hear someone speaking, but sometimes I'll be able to be precise on what exactly that they're saying. I use captioning.
We stand with Israel throughout all of this. Hamas needs to be effectively neutralized before there's any kind of peace.
When you have hundreds of thousands of people in our nation here illegally with criminal records and some actively engaging in crime, well, then they all have to go. There's a lot of freakouts, and of course I would never support taking it by force. But I do think it's a responsible conversation if they were open to acquiring it and whether just buying it outright. I mean, if anyone think that's bonkers, it's like, well, remember the Louisiana Purchase?
The major headline here in what is a very long piece is that some of the people closest to Senator Fetterman, I mean, really close, are extremely concerned about his well-being and mental health.
Yeah, that's right. It's, it was a really hard story to work on, to be honest. It was a sad story. These are a lot of people who truly believed in Fetterman for a long time, and some of them have political disagreements with him now, and a lot of people want to make this all about political disagreements. But these are people who are genuinely worried about him. They had a hard time working for him, and they want to see him get back on his recovery plan. They feel like he has fallen off the recovery plan that he was on. But over time, some of the people that I talked to started to believe that maybe he wasn't as good as he had led on, and that behind the scenes, they were having a very difficult time with him where he would shut down, he wouldn't do the job. There would be days where they'd have to clear his schedule so he wouldn't kind of be around people saying what was described as unhinged stuff.
So let me get this straight. When John Fetterman was stumbling through debates like a malfunctioning Furby, the left circled the wagons. Chris Hayes nearly sprained his neck, nodding along like, this is fine. He was their brave, inspiring, working-class hero. He was everything they needed him to be, until he started thinking for himself. And now? Now that he speaks in complete sentences and has the audacity to say Israel has the right to exist, or that maybe criminals shouldn't be walking across the border, suddenly he's a threat to democracy. MSNBC trots out professional Trump hater Chris Hayes to host Ben Terrace, a soft-spoken hitman from the Washington Post, to politely assassinate Fetterman's character. They quote his ex-chief of staff, a D.C. hall monitor named Adam Gentleson, who basically wrote a letter to the psychiatrist, like, "Dear doctor, John's acting weird. He's not reading our memos, and he thinks for himself now. Please medicate him." He accuses Fetterman of conspiratorial thinking and megalomania because the guy reads the news and forms an opinion instead of parroting talking points from some pink-haired intern in Chuck Schumer's office. God forbid he doesn't swallow the entire party line like it's a booster shot for wokeness. This is what the left does when someone breaks character. They smear him, they leak anonymous gossip like some Mean Girls spin-off, and then they have the balls, the actual balls, to call him unstable. Let me tell you what this really is. It's a full-blown, industrial-strength, Democrat-brand bullshit intervention. Fetterman didn't go off his meds, he went off script. And that's unforgivable in the Church of Woke. They only loved him when he was barely functioning. Now that he's awake and asking real questions, cancel him, diagnose him, destroy him. If Fetterman started wearing a Make America Think Again hat, they'd have him hauled off to Walter Reed in a straitjacket made of NPR tote bags. Here's the truth. The problem isn't Fetterman's brain. It's the left's obsession with control. And now that he's unplugged from the matrix, the whole system is glitching. Good. If you're tired of watching the left prop someone up when they're weak and tear them down the moment they think for themselves, If you're done watching the same media machine flip the script just to protect the narrative, then do me a favor. Help me keep bringing you content like this. Hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And share this with someone who still thinks John Fetterman's the problem, instead of the party trying to muzzle him. And for more truth, fire, and yes, sarcasm, go to steadfastandloyal.com. We don't do cover-ups. We don't do spin. We tell it like it is, every single day. As always, stay informed, stay free, and stay steadfast and loyal. I'm Jimmy Parker. Thanks for joining us.